EA Sports. It's in the game.
EA has released a ton of details about Dynasty Mode in the upcoming EA Sports College Football 25. The mode looks absolutely insane. There's so much to get to. Let's try to hit on the 20 most important things you can expect in a deep and immersive Dynasty Mode when college football launches July 19th for Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. Before we dig into it, though, just a reminder to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more on College Football 25, MLB The Show, video games, and entertainment. While you're at it, visit our website, strangelyAwesomeGames.com. Dynasty in College Football 25 is similar to franchise mode in Madden, except it looks to be much, much better. A lot of details put into the mode in this game, and EA revealed a lot of the details in a blog that was almost 17,000 words. In it, they talked about coaches, assistant coaches, recruiting, transfer portal, the college football playoff, and a lot more. Let's get to the 20 biggest things right now. Number one, there's 3 core pillars for a franchise. So the development team set out to make the game fans wanted with the idea that it is for us, the fans. How well they execute on that will be determined in a couple of weeks, but the intent is there. To accomplish this, the dev team created 3 core pillars for Dynasty Mode in EA Sports College Football 25. Build your coach, build your program, and deliver the world of college football. Everything they worked on in Dynasty had to feed into one of those pillars. Let's see how they did. 2, no coach will be great at everything. In the real world of college football, no coach is super elite at absolutely everything. Some are great tacticians, others are great recruiters, and still others are motivators, or think they are.
It's real, it's raw. At times, it's real raw. You know, if you're going bear hunting, you better be prepared to go get the bear.
College Football 25 looks to replicate this, as the difference between coach types makes a huge difference in the game. Different coach types will have a rock, paper, scissors relationship, and you'll need to build a staff that complements each other in order to have a successful program. In addition, you'll need to keep up with the times, which means insisting on an offensive style from decades past is going to turn off recruits and make your program suffer. 3, coach progression. Players develop over the course of their college career, and coaches should be able to do the same. Urban Meyer was a very different coach at Ohio State than he was at Utah. In College Football 25, XP and coach points is what will matter to you in terms of coach progression. Earn XP to level up your coach to a maximum of level 50. Every time you level them up, you'll earn coach points to spend in the skill tree and make your coach better. XP can be earned in a variety of ways in College Football 25. The ways you earn it, though, are broken into 4 different categories. First is the draft, which gets your players drafted into the NFL. The more players you get drafted in the high rounds of the draft, the more XP goals you'll complete. In-game goals. Complete on-the-field goals to earn XP. This could be beating your rival, winning the national title, or even just racking up touchdowns and rushing yards. Recruiting. Sign a great recruiting class, secure a 5-star prospect, or complete other recruiting goals to earn XP through the recruiting process. And finally, stats. Rack up yards, defensive accomplishments, and more to earn XP. Think of this as more like season-long goals versus the in-game one, which are just that game. 4, coach archetypes. Every coach will start with a base archetype inside either recruiting, motivator, or scheme. From there, the process becomes like an RPG. If you choose, you can become a hybrid coach who's very good at more than one thing, or you can focus on being the best at one of the 3. The ultimate goal is to reach one of the elite archetypes, which are program builder or CEO. My favorite thing about this is that there's no one way to get there. It'll take a combination of XP progression and on-field success. You're in control of the type of coach you create, and it seems as if the 11 total archetypes will give a ton of options. Every archetype has a set of prerequisites to unlock in order to purchase it. In the blog, the example of elite recruiter was given. In order to get that archetype, you'll need to spend 50 coach points in the recruiter tree and sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes before you can get it. 5, climb the coaching ladders. Every new coaching job that you take in Dynasty requires signing a contract with that school. Every contract consists of a length of agreement and expectations for your performance in the role. Bad performance might mean you don't make it to the end of the contract. You'll have expectations that might include winning a certain number of games, winning a conference title, making the college football playoff, or even winning the national championship. Based on how you're performing compared to the expectations your school has, your job security will get stronger or weaker. As you progress through your career, your coach will earn a coach prestige grade, ranging from A+ to F. That grade will help determine the kinds of offers you get from other schools. 6, coordinators. Don't forget about your coordinators. Head coaches might get all the attention, but you'll need a balanced staff that complements your head coach while shining in areas that the head coach doesn't. Coordinators have the same archetypes and abilities available to them that head coaches do. Abilities stack on your staff too, so if numerous people on your staff are strong in recruiting, it's just going to make your program's recruiting that much better. Coordinators have a progression to become head coaches, so you'll need to manage your staff effectively and be ready to find the next great protege when one of your coordinators accepts a top job elsewhere. The effects of abilities depend on which side of the ball the coordinator's on. As an example, if you give a defensive coordinator some offensive abilities, they'll have a dramatically lower effect than if the offensive coordinator had those same abilities. 7. Coach carousel. Coaches change jobs in college football all the time. College Football 25 is seeking to capture that excitement with the idea that one job opening up might trigger 3 to 4 more jobs once that first one is filled. The example is Alabama's opening, resulting in openings at Washington and Arizona. The carousel begins during conference championship week. Schools will decide whether to extend expiring contracts or fire underperforming head coaches. During this time, head coaches will be able to fire coordinators as well. When deciding whether a coach is a good fit, the school looks at the following things: coach level, scheme, archetype, pipeline, and coach prestige. 8. Staged recruiting. Recruiting in College Football 25 will have 3 different stages to it: discovery, pitch, and close. The idea behind the construction of recruiting is to humanize recruits, giving many of them different wants, needs, and priorities. Some will care about being close to home, while others are going to care about getting to the NFL. Still more might care about academics or campus life. It's up to you to find out what each individual recruit wants. 9. Discovery. During this first phase, your job is to learn as much about recruits as possible as quickly as you can. EA's made the ability to search pretty easy, which is good because there's a lot of recruits in the game. You'll be able to filter your search by position, player type or archetype, state, minimum star rating, height, weight, handedness for quarterbacks, or interest in your school. When you identify recruits you're interested in, you can add them to your board. You'll also want to make use of the page that tells you your needs. If you don't fill gaps you have in positions, your team's going to pay for it on the field. From there, you'll start to scout potential recruits. There's 4 different levels of scouting: unscouted, partially scouted, mostly scouted, and fully scouted. Only when a prospect is fully scouted will you know exactly what type of player you might be getting. During the discovery phase, you'll have 5 recruiting actions available to you. You can offer a scholarship, search their social media, DM the player, contact friends and family, or send the house. While many of these actions are about learning about the character of a player, the send the house option allows you to put full effort into influencing the player to commit early. 10. Pitch. Here's where you try to sell your program to the player. There's 2 different options available to you here. The soft sell, which will get you a moderate amount of influence if you're successful, but won't completely crush your hopes if it fails, or the hard sell, which is a lot more risky. It also has the biggest potential reward, though. In some cases, the recruit's motivations and priorities won't align with your program. In those events, you'll be able to try to influence them to change their motivations to make them feel like your school's a better fit for them. 11. Close. The close stage is where you're bringing in recruits for a school visit. It's not as simple as just scheduling the visit, though. There's a lot of strategy involved here. Sure, you can wait to bring the recruit in until the big game rivalry over Thanksgiving weekend, but there's a risk to that too. They might commit somewhere else before that. So it might make sense to have them come visit earlier in the season, even though the impact on influence will be lessened. Once you've scheduled the visit, you have to decide what they're going to do on that visit. There's 14 different activities that you can plan out for a player when they're there, and each one maps to one of their potential motivations. Choose wisely, get the player. Choose poorly, you could cost yourself a top recruit.
You have chosen wisely.
12. How your school is rated. One of my favorite things about the old NCAA football games was taking a 2 or 3 star school and trying to turn it into a 5-star powerhouse. You'll be able to do that again in College Football 25 if you choose. There's a lot of factors that go into how your school gets rated. 14 of them, in fact, and your school gets graded on all of them. They are playing time, play style, championship contender, program tradition, campus lifestyle, stadium atmosphere, pro potential, brand exposure, academic prestige, conference prestige, coach stability, and athletic facilities. That's a lot. The first couple are very much recruiting focused. Championship contender is determined by top 25 ranking, team prestige, and how many 4 and 5 star recruits you have on your roster. Finally, brand exposure is all about those NIL opportunities for players. The more that are available, the better your rating is going to be there. 13, transfer portal. The transfer portal has become a huge part of college football in the past few years. EA Sports is bringing that new element to College Football 25. Some players will have deal breakers. Those are things that are so important to them that they won't bend on them. If you promise to meet that deal breaker and don't, there's a good chance a player will choose to leave in the offseason. The transfer portal begins in the beginning of offseason recruiting. If any of your players enter it, you will have 3 weeks to attempt to convince them to stay. You can also try to convince players to enter the transfer portal. Maybe you have too many players on your roster, or maybe you're trying to channel your inner Coach Prime. However, you can't try to put the brand new freshman you just signed into the transfer portal. 14, player progression. Building talent is one of the best parts of Dynasty Mode, and the player progression system in College Football 25 is outstanding. Players have 4 different types of development: normal, impact, star, and elite, and you're not going to know which one they have until after they sign, unless your coach has the mind reader ability, in which case you might learn what development type they have during their visit. Players are going to progress during the season, but the largest progress and improvements will be made during the offseason. How much a player progresses in the offseason depends on their year in school, your head coach abilities, and their development type. Freshmen and sophomores are going to progress faster than a player entering his senior year. Rather than upgrading each attribute individually, you're going to upgrade a player's skill group, which will in turn upgrade every attribute inside that skill group. In addition, players will have up to 5 physical abilities and 3 mental abilities that you can unlock as they progress. 15, impact players and wear and tear. Every team will have at least 1 impact player on both offense and defense, but there's no limits this time around to the amount of impact players you can have on your team. Impact players have a star on them, and it's a nice way to identify the other team's best players. Wear and tear is a huge part of college football, and in College Football 25, you'll have to manage your players' wear and tear over the course of the season. This year, players rack up damage to individual body parts rather than overall. So if you're a WWE 2K player, this might be fairly familiar to you. You'll have to decide if an injury is bad enough to sit a player for a week, or whether you want to risk greater injury on that body part by playing him in the upcoming game. 16, College Football Playoff. The 12-team College Football Playoff is finally here, and it's in College Football 25 too. The CFP uses a 5+7 model, meaning that the 5 highest-ranked conference champions get automatic bids into the tournament, and the remaining 7 spots are filled with the highest-ranked remaining teams in the College Football Playoff rankings. To get a first-round bye, you have to be one of the highest-ranked conference champions. First-round games are played on campus, meaning you can earn a home game in the playoff. In addition, there are 34 more bowl games to earn your way into if you're not quite fortunate enough to make it into the playoff. 17, conference realignment. The Pac-12 just got blown up with teams heading into the Big Ten, ACC, and Big 12. In College Football 25, you can make custom conferences, though. If you want the old school SEC or Big 8, you can make that happen. Or if you want to make a dream super conference that has all the prestigious programs, you can do that too. You can also edit each conference's rules, including if they have divisions or not, or whether or not there's a conference title game. At launch, though, the conferences will be set to the 2024 realignment. Sorry about that, fans of Oregon State and Washington State. 18, schedules. College Football 25 is doing more than just generating schedules each year of Dynasty. They're making sure that rivalry games stay on the weekends they need to be on, and that the development team is adding week 0 games to the schedule too. Also, the big kickoff games like the Duke's Mayo Classic and the Vegas Classic are in this game too. You can also customize your schedule. You can't edit your conference schedule though, but you can edit your non-conference games every season if you want to make it tougher or even a little bit easier. You can only schedule a team that has a week available though, so you can't just pick up anyone you want. 19, online dynasties. Online dynasties back.
Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go.
It's one of my favorite modes in this game from the old NCAA football days. In College Football 25, you can have up to 32 user-controlled teams in an online dynasty, and the dynasty can run up for 30 seasons. There's only 1 user per school, and the commissioner is in charge of advancing the week, setting the rules, and which roster file gets used at league creation. Since there's always one of these, if you're the person that likes to quit and restart games against a CPU that aren't going your way, College Football 25 will show exactly how many times a game against a CPU opponent was restarted. In the event that someone doesn't play their games, the commissioner can forfeit a user's game or advance the week, causing that game to be simmed. Online Dynasty doesn't have crossplay, though, so everybody in your league will be needing to use the exact same console. And number 20, release date. This all sounds pretty great. We're going to see when it's in the wild how well it actually performs, but I'm pretty damn excited. I hope you are too. The last important piece of information is the release date. EA Sports College Football 25 is available on July 19th and on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. If you get the more expensive editions, you'll be able to play 3 days early, though, starting on July 16th. I hope you're as excited about Dynasty Mode as I am. It looks like they've learned a lot from Madden mistakes and want to get this game right at launch. Before we go, please hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more College Football 25 content, as well as gaming and entertainment content. And if you like this type of stuff, consider supporting us with a membership to our channel. We appreciate that support more than you know. We hope you have a great time with College Football 25. Have a great day, everybody.
EA Sports. It's in the game.